If I say, hey guys, I have a sex tape with like my boyfriend in the car, everyone's like, cool, that's not new. But then if I have an account that says, hey, I'm Kazumi's ex-boyfriend, fuck this bitch. Here's her leaked sex tape of us fucking in the car, everyone buys it. It's really funny the relationship people have with porn and sex and women. If I say, hey guys, I have a sex tape with like my boyfriend in the car, everyone's like, cool, that's not new. But then if I have an account that says, hey, I'm Kazumi's ex-boyfriend, fuck this bitch, here's her leaked sex tape of us fucking in the car, everyone buys it but it's crazy because they don't want it to come from me. They want it to come from a fellow jerk face, or they want to make it, they want to feel like women are just kind of like these little NPCs that like react and just like we don't have our own body autonomy. So I've been able, which is why I have my Simps make the memes, because if I make the memes, everyone knows it's me and they're like, shut up. Whereas if my friends make the memes and they're like, I feel like that's just a better story. It's a better discussion.
You're calling them simps. Do they like that?
Yes, they're my simp army.
That's not demeaning?
I don't think it's demeaning. I love my simps, but I thought that was just a modern name for fans, right? Like that's,
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
If somebody called me their simp, I'd be like,
I'd be
excuse you?
pulling my credit card info off there and just
I simp for everybody. I mean, I simp for Jack. You know what I mean? I'm a Jack simp. So I'm doing this pro bono. I don't have a modeling team or agency, which sometimes is cool because I take all the money, but sometimes it sucks because I lose all the money too. Like last year, my accountant was like, hey, so you allegedly said you spent $860,000 on marketing last year. Like what? And I kind of was like, what? I don't think I did that. And she was like, you did. And I looked through and I did. IRS, I did. But it was also like, there's a lot of things that flop, you know, like for every like cool billboard that everyone sees and like has like a whole ruckus about, there's been a million times I've flown an airplane over a place that was too dusty, or I've like flown like a billboard, or I've driven like a billboard truck that like no one saw. So it's just kind of been a crapshoot of just figuring it out myself, like what has been a loss and what has been a W for me.
Wow. How do you think of these ideas? Like, what's the thought process?
I just think about what causes discussion, you know, and what is going to be worth the money. I understand what my strengths are. I'm in a saturated market where everyone is a hot girl, and I just have to think about what would make me different. And I kind of was like, truthfully, what makes me the most money is doing podcasts and YouTube skits, because that's like me broadening my audience and creating like I'm joining the multiverse when I do podcasts and like skits with other people.
How much would this podcast make you? I'm just curious.
It's going to depend. I mean, obviously I lean into having a great like conversation that fits your market, but also like I'm going to get like little bits of this and like repopulate TikTok. You'll see it. Okay. You'll see it on YouTube Shorts and whatnot.
Okay.
Yeah.
But can you put a dollar amount on that? I'm just curious, just for my own.
It's really funny because one time I tweeted out this thing on my Twitter and I was like, hey guys, where did you guys find me? And the answers are always so eclectic. Like they'll say like, oh, I found you from this podcast, or I found you from this magazine. And at the time I may have not necessarily thought those things went viral, but at like years later and months later, those things compound. So probably a lot, but like over the course of like my OnlyFans career, as long as this YouTube video goes up, I'm going to make money off of it for a long time.
Wow. Are there any ideas that you've not done?
There's things I want to do.
Can you share anything, or maybe something that was like too much, like too far? Anything you shot down? We want a hint.
Let me see. There's been things that I've like considered, but it's just like they're things that I can do, but they are just things that I have to do in the future. Like at some point, I would like to get I would like to make an agency, you know, or at some point I would want to make an award show. Or I'd want to make something that makes me like positions me in like a leadership position where everyone is like, okay, Kazumi's that guy for this section. Yeah, I've been navigating my YouTube, and it's been a hard game just trying to find out what my voice is, if I just want to like do skits or if I want to do stuff. I've been interacting with my Simps or fans, you know, a lot. I just paid a Simps rent. How
did that work?
I've paid my Simps rent quite a few times. The first time was I was at No Jumper Live and I paid for a No Jumper fans rent. This time I kind of was like, you know, you guys just pay my bills. At the end of the day, I love men and I love my fans and / Simps super well. So I had this I filmed this YouTube thing where I was like, look, if you want me to pay your rent, submit and I'll consider it. And this guy was like, sure. He works at my local Whole Foods. I can never go to Whole Foods ever again. And he tattooed my name on his arm and it says, Kazumi loves you. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to pay your rent.
You're going to get a lot of tattoos now.
Yeah.
You know what? Let me backtrack. Kazumi, you can call me your simp. I'm okay with it now.
I'll pay your rent if you tattoo your name right now.
What would you do?
Alex. So, Kazumi, a lot of people that I talk to that are women, they're always like, I could make a killing on OnlyFans. What do you say is like, if somebody actually wanted to start an OnlyFans and make a ton of money, what do you think are the top 3 things that they have to focus on?
I always, first of all, whenever a woman says that, I'm like, do it then. Do it then. And then I'll be like, no, I can't because this and that. And that's the whole point. No. Number one, you are going to deal with social stigma no matter what. I can keep this podcast as clean as possible, and I can tell people how I made $5 million and how I've done all these cool things. And for some people, I'm still just a slut, and that's all I'm ever going to be. And that's just something that I'm going to have to deal with as I navigate the world and I apply to houses and, cars and like, that's just a thing that I'm going to deal with. So number one is you are going to deal with social stigma as long as the world has a problem of sex workers, making money, and just like that's going to be a thing, and you have to be comfortable with the fact that, I, at this point nowadays, I get into some pretty high level places and it's cool. And then they find out I have an OnlyFans and then it's like, oh, whatever, man, like you're just hot. Dude, everyone's hot. It has nothing to do with what you look like. So the first thing is like, look, you're going to deal with the social stigma no matter what. And you're going to have to live with that. And whatever repercussions that is with your family and your friends, you are going, even though in my mind, it's not a big of a deal. My parents don't even know. And I'm this big. The second thing is it is not about the resources you have. It's about how resourceful you are. With OnlyFans, you are able to find your own audience. You don't have to have sex. You don't have to be hot. All you have to do is create value in the marketplace, whatever the that is. That could be you talking about cryptocurrency like Marcus Two Braids, or that could be you shaking your ass like Ruby Rose, or it could be you actually making porn, but it doesn't matter. All you have to do is make people want to buy that.
Got it.
What are some of the like sex work or porn people that do OnlyFans that do extremely well, like you just kind of mentioned? Do you know anyone else?
Amarath doesn't have porn on her OnlyFans, and she makes $1.5 million a month.
What is it? What is it? Bikinis or what is it?
I think she has an amazing Twitch presence. She also has done stuff like the billboards. She also has probably made more investments. Like I know she just bought a 7-Eleven. So people don't want to pay attention to what successful OnlyFans girls do, and they're just missing game. But I know that she is able to make a lot of money. I think a lot of it also has to do with the fact that she doesn't do porn. And so like any inch of sensuality you see from her is very stimulating and exciting.
What do you think the ratio is between how personable you have to be, like the level of people that go after personality versus looks? Like, do you think it's maybe 90% how you look and 10% personality, or do you think it's flipped?
I think it's easy for people to think it's based on looks because they see these girls with huge Instagram followings and then they have an OnlyFans and then they're not but breaking their back. But I would say, so I started on Telegram, and a lot of those girls still don't have OnlyFans. I mean, still don't have social media. Or if they do, they don't show their face because they still are going through school, trying to become a nurse or whatever. And I would say a vast majority of these girls may not be the most conventionally attractive, but they're very smart. They know how to create a good hook. They know with their captions, they know how to create scarcity, with like whatever the fuck they're selling and make you want to buy it. So I would say like a big ratio of women, it's really about like their own like marketing strategies versus how you look. We see the loudest people, which are the people, like Jimmy Smacks and stuff who make these outrageous viral like moves on Instagram and then are also very attractive. But those aren't necessarily the people that make the most money. Because I've seen a lot of their numbers, and a lot of them don't make as much as me because they think the social media is all they need to leverage themselves, but they don't know how to explain why I should buy a bikini picture. Some girls are really good at that, and some girls, don't know how to make it seem like a personal experience.
Yeah. So what is your value prop in OnlyFans?
Like, I would say, number one, I think there's a lot of stuff you see about me on the internet that makes you feel like you know who I am on some sense, and I feel like I'm a relatable person, you know, and or at least admirable. I've been to places where I've like thrown condoms on the floor with my barcode, you know, and sometimes guys will be like, "You'll be the first OnlyFans girl I subscribe to, just because you got that good heart, you know, you got some grit, you're different. I'll subscribe, even though I don't want to see your porn." It's a good way to show support.
How often though are you not in the mood? Like you maybe scheduled all this stuff out and you wake up that morning and it's just like, I just don't feel like doing it today.
I feel like I can get there. I can get there in the mindset I may, and if not, I can, you know, provide value in other ways. Like I have videos, you know, I have a library and a collection that you could just, which makes residual income even if I'm not actively horny. And the reason why I do all these podcasts and make all these memes is because I want money. I want to have a lifestyle based on money. On what I did. Not what I do. Because even though we did this podcast and you'll probably drop it in a month or two, this will pay me for the rest of my life as long as people watch this video.
Just get a cut, Jack.
I mean, that's wild.
We never worked.
You know?